So, Shujaa family, karibu back to another global chapter of Voices of Shujaa, where lived experience becomes leadership and where we don't just tell stories, we build movement. Today's guest, a force, a husband, a leader, a fitness advocate, a former entrepreneur, a severe Hemophilia B warrior living with epilepsy, and still pushing community-centered versus practical advocacy that lifts every patient around him. Welcome, Jared Formalejo. A reminder that strength isn't the absence of struggle, it's the mastery of it. So how are you, Shujaa, today?
Oh yeah, I've been feeling great, and thank you so much for having this platform. And yeah, we need to be able to communicate, advocacy and empowering hemophiliacs and other chronically ill people. And I'm very happy to be a part of this. And yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to speak.
My pleasure. Will you kindly take the opportunity to introduce yourself, where you are from, and why you became a Shujaa?
Well, yeah, I'm Jared Formalejo, and I'm from the Philippines. And a bit of a background, like what you said earlier. Yeah, I'm a former entrepreneur. Currently I'm a full-time dad, and yeah, I'm happy to be able to care for my daughter, my wife, and all of that. And being a hemophilia warrior, I'm very much in tune with the importance of communicating what the hemophilia community here needs. So a very big advocate for physical fitness and empowerment because it's something that's very central to being a hemophilia. Because a lot of times here in the Philippines, we would think a lot of caregivers or a lot of parents, especially older ones, they think hemophiliacs should be sheltered, kept, and shouldn't be moving at all. And I am very much against that. Actually, what I often joke is that you have the perfect reason to work out and be buff and
Yeah, yeah,
have, big muscles
yeah.
because you need it to be, functional and so that you can have lesser bleeds.
And a
And yeah.
strong system.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
so, so Jared, let's begin with a part most people never see. Growing up managing two chronic conditions that both demand attention, planning, and resilience. What does a day look like when you are balancing hemophilia and epilepsy?
To be honest, regarding hemophilia, it has been something that I've adapted to since I was a kid. And growing up, I guess having to experience a bit of alienation, I was able to have a mindset that I manage hemophilia. I have hemophilia, so I need to be able to know how to live with it. So more or less with me, hemophilia is a companion, I guess, or someone who's just there that I need to manage, I need to tend to.
Yeah.
But for epilepsy, it's something that's a bit more complicated because I have to be, wary of seizures because it can happen anytime. So whenever that's there, I need to be able to, since I had seizures later on in life, it's something that I need to adapt to more intentionally because I haven't had much of a chance to really learn about it as much. So I need to be more mindful and I need to educate myself more intentionally so that I know how to prevent seizures.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and all of that. So what it looks like in a day, honestly, it's just living life, ensuring that, you're still fit and everything is, fine with you. And
I truly
making sure that, and making sure that everything still works out. And it's not about struggling with hemophilia or with epilepsy. It's about living with it, managing it.
truly you are a Shujaa. And a Shujaa in Kenya means a hero. So what moments shaped the fighter you are today? From that diagnosis up to now, that resilient husband you are today. What moment shaped you?
What was that? What affected me?
Okay, I'm hearing echo. So I was
Mm-hmm.
asking what moment shaped the fighter you are today from diagnosis up to now? What are the moments that shaped you?
I wouldn't say it's just one moment. It's a series of moments growing up because I can't say that just one thing really affected me because it's every day living with it. It's every day battling it. It's every day managing it. So it's more the collective experience of me learning to live with hemophilia, learning to
Yeah.
live with epilepsy. So it's more it's more in accepting and understanding that this is something that I need to live with.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this is something that I need to, adapt to and always keep in mind.
Great. What do you wish the world would understand about complex conditions?
Something that I wish other people would understand regarding complex conditions.
Yeah, yeah.
It's that, I guess, first and foremost, or most importantly, is that, we're people too. And as much as everyone else has, their own conditions, we are fully capable. It's having hemophilia, having epilepsy, or any other chronic illness for that matter, doesn't mean that you are less of a person. And it's important for you to be able to accept it and be able to live past it. Because, we're people, we're battling every day, we're heroes.
Yeah, yeah.
And, being a hero means, exceeding or being an inspiration to others as well.
Great. So chronic illness doesn't pause, or when you grow into adulthood, relationship, work, self-worth, they hit different. So what was the turning point where you said, okay, I'm not just surviving, I'm building a life?
For me, the moment that I had to, learn to understand that I need to be able to build a life is finally understanding that eventually the people around me, will go away. Because caregivers or parents or family members come and go. But, you need to be able to learn how to live with your body, with yourself. So it's important that you learn that you learn how to be self-sufficient and be able to manage yourself well, because it's not just about you being taken care of. You need to be able to have your own life. You need to be able to manage things on your own, because at the end of the day, you have yourselves and you need to be able to take care of yourself, because, you need to treat yourself as your best friend as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I second that. Independency shows you how you can unlock that self-infinite possibility. So let's get real. Fear, guilt, anxiety, medical trauma, they leave emotional bruises. What did mental health look like for you during your darkest seasons?
Well, in my darkest seasons, I guess I really questioned existence. If I would have to, admit something here, I really was a depressed kid, because I've always felt alienation.
Yeah, yeah.
So the fact that I was always set apart, or that fact that I was always in the hospital or bleeding, or, the thought that before graduating, I had that thought that, I might not have a career because no one might want to hire me. So I had a lot of anxieties, and, sometimes I would even have ideations in thinking that, what life is this that I had to have hemophilia? Those are my darkest moments. And, honestly, if you were to ask me what kind of person I am, I love life. But here is the thing. I love life, but I hate the body I'm in. Those are my darkest moments.
Truly, you're a Shujaa. And you've mentioned graduating. What are you pursuing? And how did you start advocate on maybe the people that are around you? How did you start? What did you face so that you rebuild your confidence?
Well, it's really about, it's really about stepping into that experience, so the experience of being independent. Because, well, running a business, or running an enterprise with my partner, I've learned how to deal with, with customers, with clients. I've learned how to do things like, marketing, sales, and all of that, and advertising.
Yeah.
So, being able to learn how to sustain yourself, you really just have to dive in. And then, if you were to ask me about, what I want to pursue, honestly, I want to be able to go into entrepreneurship again. I'm actually a very avid cook, so I enjoy cooking a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
If you were to ask me who is cooking here at home, I'm the one, not my wife. So,
Good.
yeah, I'm happy to be able to do that. And it's something that a dream of mine that I would also want to pursue a business with a business related to food. I guess that's something that I'm really aspiring for, in the future.
It's I usually say it's great. It's great to actionate your strengths and what you like. You might not know what you're hiding from it, and you might bring something lump sum in the family and ignite other through your story. So what tools helped you heal mentally while managing physical challenges?
What managed me to heal mentally while I have my challenges?
Yeah.
Well, funny thing here is that the thing that's able to help me most is being able to do the things that I love. So, being able to dive into things like hobbies, like for example, what I said earlier, cooking, things like working out, exercising, making sure that my body is fit. Those are things that make me want to go on. And being able to live life to the fullest is really something that's important to me. But apart from that, I also have my friends, I have my family, I have my daughter that makes me, I have my daughter that, beams with joy every single day. And it's something that reminds me that life is good, life is okay, and life is full of hope because it's a kid. It's my daughter. I see the future in her and I want to be able to, inspire her with my story that, that you can surpass your limits, or even though you have things like hemophilia, chronic illness or whatever, you still can live a life that's very full. Actually, if you were to, come here at my house, you would see that my daughter is very much involved in life with hemophilia, and it actually makes life with hemophilia a lot more fun.
Yeah. So let's say in the future collaborations, I might pop up in the Philippines, enjoy there, and we'll be able to do activities that will ignite hope in that environment and globally. So this is the part that so many warriors want to understand. How do you safely stay active with severe hemophilia B like me? And what's your philosophy on fitness?
This is where it gets a bit complicated because if you're gonna talk about fitness, I have a very high risk tolerance for fitness. So whenever I would work out, I really push myself. Whenever I would do, a number of push-ups, a number of pull-downs, I really want to be able to make the most out of each set or each rep.
Yeah.
But here's the thing here's the thing that you need to be able to understand. Our bodies are different. Our bleed frequencies are different. So first and foremost, it's very important that you know your body first. It just so happens that I guess, genetically maybe I became a bit strong because my dad is a big guy. So I guess I might be lucky in that aspect. But it's important for you to be able to learn how to pace yourself, how to, work with your body. Because having hemophilia, a lot of times you might think that your body is working against you, but you need to be able to have a connection with your body wherein you're able to, communicate with it, relate with it, such that you'll be able to make the full use out of it.
Great. Health literacy is something that when I exercise, I look into it, I listen to my body, as you've said, so that I don't hurt myself. So how do you train without triggering bleeds? And what's your message to young warriors scared of movement?
Actually, this is a very interesting thing because, whenever I would have bleed-free moments, I really make the most out of it. So whenever I would have seasons where I'm able to transfuse and I've already recovered, I make the most out of rehab or out of rehabilitation. And for some low risk activities, I would usually do body weight exercises like calisthenics. So it's something that you can easily pace, or it's something that you can easily manage. Because, it's kind of hard to overdo a push-up if you know how to do the proper form. And apart from that, whenever I would have a bleed, for example, one of my target joints is my right ankle, so I would often have bleeds there. Just because you're in a bed does not mean that you're not able to work other parts of your body.
Yeah.
I'm very stubborn. I have a very hard head. So, if a part of you doesn't work at that moment, look for other parts of you that can work, just so you can make sure that, you're not stagnant and your body won't weaken. Make sure that you have movement all the time, or you seek out moments where you can exercise, or you can seek out moments where you can stay physically fit. So if it's as easy as, if I can't walk, I can have my dumbbells near me, and then I can, do some curls, do some do some kickbacks or whatever, and make sure that even though you have slow moments, there's still moments and you can still move.
Great, Shujaa. Continue actionating what you said, Nutted, and I like it that you've accepted and you're moving through it. using the pain to ignite hope in yourself so that you see growth. You're not just a patient, you're a husband, and that's powerful for our community to see. How do you navigate marriage while managing chronic conditions?
For marriage and, managing it, whenever I would see hemophiliacs within our community, it's kind of, it kind of makes me feel sad that a lot of them don't have partners. But, in the way that I communicate with my wife and the way that we, relate, we definitely have a partnership. It's not about her being a caregiver, because that's not what a wife is.
Yep.
I need to be able to also tend to her needs. So, for example, if she can take care of me, physically. Whenever I would have a bleed, she'd be able to give me support. But at the same time, if whenever I would have my seasons where I'm strong, where I'm healthy,
Yeah.
I'm the one who takes care of her and I'll always make sure that her mental, emotional wellness is, well supported, because it's a two-way street. It's
Yeah.
not fair if she is the one who only focuses on me, because I'm not a baby. I'm a husband. So I need to be able to tend to her as well.
Yeah.
And that's how we manage our relationship or our marriage.
I love the word that you mentioned. It's a one way, and you manage it too. So what does partnership look like in your world?
Partnership?
Yeah.
Well, if I can, oversimplify it, marriage is, if you really, distill marriage, or if you really want to simplify marriage, it's a friendship. You do not hurt your friend. You do not abuse your friend. You need to be able to speak with them. You need to be able to communicate your needs and make sure that you relate well with each other. Because a marriage is just a very deep friendship. And a lot of people overcomplicate it with, with symbols or with overcomplicated concepts. But essentially, it's just being a partner. It's being someone who's there for someone. It's two people taking care of each other. It's two people having fun with each other. And it's two people connecting.
Yeah.
It's a unit. It's something that you build that's, supposed to be beneficial for the both of you. So it's never just me, or it's never just me, it's never just her. It's both of us.
I feel empowered through how you handle it, and I'll reach out for more information on that part. And what are the conversations every chronic illness couple must have?
For conversations, of course, you need to be able to communicate your physical needs. So whenever you would, have signs of internal bleedings, I need to be able to, communicate that and let my partner be aware that I'm experiencing that. Or, if I have a seizure, for example, as much as possible, I try to communicate if I have if I have signs early on.
Yeah.
So that, they won't be surprised or anything. And another thing is, you as the Shujaa, or you as the hemophiliac or the chronically ill person, you need to be able to ask them if they're okay or not. And, you need to be able to set proper boundaries, because you cannot expect that person, your partner, to, to overextend for you, because that's not fair.
Yeah,
And and a very big conversation to have, or a very important conversation to have, is just a simple: are you happy? Are you okay? Are we managing it well? Some self-assessment or some self-reflection. It's important that we talk about how we both are managing our lives, because it's not just one person managing one person. It's the both of you managing each other. It's a partnership, like I mentioned earlier.
Sure. So on the participants, if you have a question to Jared Formalejo, you can ask through Q&A chat, or just raise a hand. I'll be able to assist you. So now let's talk about legacy. Your advocacy is practical, grounded, and community first. What pushed you toward patient advocacy?
Well, for patient advocacy, it's important that, you're able to communicate what you have. And as hemophiliacs, we need to feel empowered to, assert ourselves as well, because living with a chronic illness, like we mentioned earlier, it's full of insecurity, and it's full of anxiety and depression. It it can really kill our motivation or our will to live. So it's important that, in our organization, for example, in our youth group, I love sharing about, making sure to be able to live life to the fullest and making sure to make the most out of the life that you have because it's the only one that you have. So you need to be able to you need to be able to use it. You need to be able to utilize or use your chronic illnesses, in a way that works for you. And it's important, for future generations. We're talking about legacy. For future generations to understand how their body works and to understand their own needs. Because you cannot live life properly or you cannot live life well if you do not know how to manage yourself and if you do not know how to deal with what you have. So it's important for me to leave a legacy that, that says I know how to live with hemophilia. I know how to live with epilepsy, and it's something that we need to be able to communicate to younger generations so that they can be inspired to, pass on the torch and learn it and then pass on the torch so that, future generations can have better lives, even better lives.
Sure. What gaps are you trying to fix in the hemophilia world?
Honestly, the biggest gap that I want to be able to fill is that disjoint between overprotectiveness and living life. Because I know it's a very, fine line to thread because you need to be able to, manage your body. You need to be careful. You need to understand how your body works, how your life should be managed. So that's why I push for advocacies like, like self-advocating or like physical fitness or mental wellness or financial empowerment because these are things that allows us to live life and that allows us to make the most out of the things that we have.
That's great.
Mhm.
And how do you blend fitness, mental health, and storytelling to help others?
Well, the way that I blend it, I guess, is that you live it. You ensure that you show people that you're an example that does all of this. Whenever I would, I'm just myself and I show that I love living life and then I love working out and then I keep my body fit and I ensure that, I ensure that I look the part and then I'm also able to, communicate it or show it
Yeah.
because it's not to be able to inspire people, you need to be able to practice it. So it's not just about talking or saying things, it's about you actually living it.
Perfect. I've heard that practicing part. Success trains, failure complains. So if you're not training, you're complaining. So how on the part of now, vision, global call to action, if you had one message for every Hemophilia B Shujaa, every epilepsy survivor, every parent, every partner, what will it be?
One big message, I guess, is that we are all people and we all have our own struggles. And we need to be able to acknowledge within ourselves that we are people with our struggles that we need to be able to manage. It just so happens that we might have something that's rarer because not everyone has epilepsy. Even less people have hemophilia B. So it's just something that sets us aside, makes us quote unquote more special. But that's a term that I use very carefully. I'm not fond of that term too much
Yeah.
because being a person, it allows you to do so many things. And I guess if there is something that I want to request caregivers, parents, families, it's just let your children with hemophilia, let your children with epilepsy live their lives or teach them how to manage their lives. More importantly, teach them how to deal with the things that they have because it's important that they understand how their body works. It's important for them to know how to deal with life. And as the parent, as the caregiver, or as someone who is a friend of a hemophiliac, something that I would want to ask is that, let them live life. If ever they need help, they can, give them the support. But the most important thing there is that they should learn how, one of the most important things is that they should learn how to live life in a way that works for them.
That's an impactful message, and I'll be pleasured to share the message that you've said already. And what future are we building for the community?
I guess I want to be able to build a future where everyone is empowered to to understand how to manage their chronic illnesses. Because to be very frank, it's one thing to focus on healthcare. It's one thing to focus on medication, but a lot of people miss out on how hemophilia, how epilepsy affects the life that we have. Because it's not, at the end of the day, it's not just physical health. It's not just managing hemophilia or epilepsy. It's the holistic side of it, managing hemophilia, managing epilepsy, and managing how it affects your mental health, your emotional well-being, managing how it can affect your financial life or how you manage your everyday. Because hemophilia, yeah. Hemophilia, epilepsy, that's just part of your physical world, but it's so important for us to know how to navigate everything else as well. So for me, it's for a vision for the future is that we are all more holistically healthy, not just physically healthy or emotionally healthy or mentally healthy. It needs to be a whole.
That's a vision that needs us to come together, a vision that needs us to collaborate so that we create a more impactful community together. Jared, your journey is exactly what Voices of Shujaa stands for. Lived experience is equals to wisdom, pain is equals to purpose, struggle is equals to you having a strategy to live a more fulfilling life. Thank you for showing the global community that real leadership looks like. For the participants, if you have a question, you can ask Jared Shujaa here from Philippines. Will be able to answer it. Any questions for Jared?
Yes, I'd be happy to answer anything.
When did you first know that you have hemophilia?
That's actually a funny story because I wasn't diagnosed until I was 4 years old. Because when I was, in the 90s, no one knew what hemophilia was. So I had to go through a lot of doctors and they did not know what I had. So, I had a lot of diagnoses that did not make sense. Actually, there was one doctor who said that I had tuberculosis of the brain. I cannot explain why, or I do not know how to explain why.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually they figured out that it was a blood issue, and then they sent me to a hematologist, and thanks to her help, I was diagnosed with hemophilia, age 4, because of all the bruises and everything. But I was a mystery when I was a kid, and my parents had no idea, and my dad was a doctor then, and that's how absent or that's how clueless people were of hemophilia.
There's still much more work to be done, and looking forward to create more change. Take this opportunity to thank you again for the impact that you made today. And let's all come together, continue crafting change through awareness, advocacy, and writing our stories. Thank you, Jared.
Yeah, thank you very much, and I'm happy to contribute.
You're welcome.